What's up, guys? What do you think? You like the new intro? That's thanks to Elio. That's how they roll here at Fiesta Media. If you're ready to have your own show, you need to call them, talk to them. I'm just rolling that out there right out of the beginning. Of course, I was just about to have a drink of my the unofficial sponsor that I like to throw out there, Miapa Coffee. You got to go to get you cranked up, gets our show going every day. So I just wanted to, we have a lot of new bumpers and new things that we've done on the show today that you're gonna like. We had to up our game today because we've got a hell of a guest on the show today, and it's going to another level because now we're gonna have so many people tuning in, and trust me, you're gonna love the show today. It's gonna be really, really good. We're highlighting an awesome business in Alachua. We got some really cool stuff going on. So first, we got to also mention our sponsors, which is the Alachua Chamber of Commerce. They bring this to you every week, and if you are a member of the Alachua Chamber of Commerce, be sure to reach out to us, and we'll get you on the show, highlight your business, and be able to get you come out to your business, do some video, promote you. That's what we're here to do, is to get you promoted and promote your business through social media. So definitely reach out to us. Of course, Digital Mortgage Guy, that's me. I help bring the show to the table. And the Optimist Club of Alachua. So the Optimist Club of Alachua is a great group of folks. And we like to give a little shout out to them every single week. And for the next 10 shows, we're going to highlight the Optimist Creed, which is what the Optimist Club kind of bases themselves on. So we're going to just show one of their quotes, show one of the tenets, talk about the tenets, and just kind of explain a little bit about what they're all about. And so let's pop that one up there. We'll show that, and then we'll roll into our guests because I want to get every second of time I can on that. So the one of the next tenet, we got that tenet. We can pop it up. There it goes. Awesome. So here is one of the tenets, and like I said, there's 10 of them. To think only of the best, to work only with the best, and expect only the best. So the Optimist Creed has 10 tenets that we go by, and this is one of them. And this one's really cool because it's basically talking about surrounding yourself with the best type of people and making yourself the best. This is the kind of stuff that is on the creed. And when us in the Optimist Club, if you're getting down on yourself or something, we always say to ourselves, look at the creed, and it gets you focused back up. So I wanted to pull this one up today because I was talking about surrounding myself with the best, which rolls me right in to my guest, who is a legend here. He's the OG when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to social media, it comes to anything that has to do with getting yourself out there. COLLIN Austin.
What's up, everybody?
Dude,
I'm psyched to be here, man.
We're rolling now, man.
Thanks for having me.
We are rolling now. So I'm glad you can make it on the show, man.
Hey, man, I'm glad I can make it too.
Dude, I mean, you're a busy guy. You're constantly out there everywhere I see. I mean, your show, and right there, the WHOA Gainesville podcast, guys, if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it because the guests you get on there and the way you produce your show is phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're the legend with it. I mean,
I don't know about all that.
You are, dude. You are the guy who gets it done. I mean,
I feel like I'm trying to keep up with you guys.
Oh,
you know?
No.
It's like we're in such a creative community. I love it.
Oh, it is. I mean, there's some good creators here. I mean, there's a lot going on. Speaking of that, I mean, there's going to be a creator event next week out there at Tech City. And so, I mean, there's so much going on.
Low,
yeah, we keep that down. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, if you're a creator, definitely reach out to us because that's going to be an awesome event.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, when did you, just curious, when did you start your podcast?
Okay, so we started in May of 2018. True story, I was getting ready to go speak to the top 20 dealers in the country up in Chicago. And, you know, we had this idea come to mind for this podcast, and I look over at my assistant and I say, I'm going to go on this trip. When I get back, this is what I want. I showed her a picture. I was like, I want this podcast studio. So I showed her this picture, and I came back and they had all the equipment for me, and I was ready to rock and roll. And you know, the main reason that we got into it, man, was because just constantly, you know, I started getting more and more involved in the community. I sit on the chamber board of directors, which is awesome to really be able to to be able to participate and to have conversations with that crew and to really be growing Gainesville is awesome. But, as an entrepreneur, I kept leaving these meetings, and, a lot of the stuff happening with the city about, between the city of Gainesville, University of Florida, Santa Fe College, Chamber of Commerce, really trying to get everybody on the same page, heading in a direction. What's the vision for this community? So there's a lot of great productive conversation, but I kept leaving these conversations thinking to myself, man, what could I do to get us one step closer? Right? What could I do to get us one step closer? And so I was like, you know what? A podcast will help with a lot of these missions that we're trying to accomplish. One, retaining our top 6 talent out of the University of Florida. How do we get this young, raw talent to stay right here? And, let's show them what Gainesville has to offer, right? Yeah. That's one way. And then, of course, you hear, we need more experienced talent. How do we get that experienced talent to come in? How do we get investor dollars to come in? I'm like, well, let's show people out in the world what Gainesville has to offer. Yeah. And of course, building as many connections and collaborations within the community as possible. It's always great. The number of times, you get somebody on your show, somebody sees it, and they're like, man, I had no idea that business existed. And that's like the best feeling when somebody gets new business because they saw somebody on your show. That's huge.
I love that about what you do, because when I've watched it forever, and the way you have it set up and the way you interview the people on the show, and they can highlight what they do, and you have really good questions. I mean, it's and the side hustle, which I absolutely love. When you do there's a side hustle right there, and has really cool questions, and it just get in depth with the guest, and this. And the whole production of the show. And it's just top tier. Whenever I watch it, it's just, you're going, man, this is like Joe Rogan kind of stuff, man. This is.
I don't know about all that. That guy's like, Bob.
It's good, man. I mean, and because you've done a lot with it, and you've inspired a lot of folks in this area to kind of get out there, get in front of the camera, do things. I mean, I'm trying to do a little show here. We have our 1 follower, so we make it happen.
Oh, man, this is great. I love this. It's funny. A lot of people always ask me, why did you go so hard, so fast on the production? Because it doesn't take a lot of work to actually like make a podcast. Yeah. Right. It's audio. You can just make a podcast, put it out there. But the truth is, I didn't know anything about making a podcast. Yeah, I'd never done a podcast ever. I might have listened to 1 episode of Joe Rogan's before even producing my own. And I was like, the one thing that I did know and understand was Facebook marketing.
Yeah.
I've been on Facebook since Facebook came out in 2004. So I was like, you know what? I understand that if I had like a really great setup and I could run ads behind it and get it in front of Gainesville business owners, it would come across their feed and they'd be like, yo, well, what is this? Like, it'll catch their eye, because that production would be so good. It would catch their eye and be like, okay, what is this? Let me subscribe to this. Let me find out what's going on here. And that's how we originally built a lot of the base. And then now we actually get more people who listen to it on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and all those places. But still, we were like, man, we got to keep the video production going.
Yeah, I think the video component, when you tie that in with the audio and video, so you can hear it or you can watch it, you got all angles covered. And so it covers so much. And the other part that I like you were saying before, is you're highlighting local businesses and getting them in front of the camera where they normally wouldn't probably be exposed to any of that at all, because they get busy with their business and they don't do the extra steps to get themselves exposed. I'm trying to do that here, where I go out to the local businesses here in Alachua and try to be able to expose them to social media and be able to get them out there, do a little bit of video work with them, and just get some exposure for them. And so your show, because it has such a reach, I mean, it really, when I was on, you invited me on the show.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was a great episode. Do you know what episode number was? It was
top of my head.
Early last year?
It was early last year. It was about the TikTok stuff.
Yeah.
And
that was a great episode.
I had a lot of people reach out and say, man, I didn't know you did that. And they went out and tracked me down and saw some of my stuff. And so I gained a few more people looking and exposing me to more, just because of being on your show, and all the extra promo that you do with it just helped me. And so I appreciate that. I mean, it was huge.
Man, it's fun. What's crazy is, you don't really think about it very much, but everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah.
And it's usually really epic. Sometimes I'm meeting with these people who a lot of them I've known. I pretty well connected. I've been in this community for 21 years now. So I know of a lot of people and have shaken hands with a lot of people. But when you invite them in and it's like, all right, tell me your story.
Let's dive deep.
How did you get here? What, and sometimes I'm on the floor, man. I'm just my jaw is just really? This is what happened? This is John Spence, right? This is how you became the CEO of a Rockefeller company at 26 years old?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, it's just the most surprising things. And half the time I'm just I'm just blown out of my mind.
Stories are awesome to hear. I mean, speaking of them, I was wanting to dive a little bit into your story, kind of how you came to Gainesville and you started. I mean, if you don't know, you also own New Scooters for Less. And then prior to that, you owned some businesses as well. You've kind of been entrepreneurial through your. So let's step back a little bit and dive into your story, because I think some people should know it.
So I'll give you the fastest version possible. Thanks, Elio. I love the little sound effects. Yeah, it's awesome. Look, my first 18 years, I was a military kid. My dad was in the Air Force. I bounced around all over the country. Even lived in England for 3 years. I mean, all over the place. I'd never lived in one place longer than about 2 or 3 years.
Really?
And so, I had family in Florida. And I had a cousin that went to the University of Florida. So I think I just kind of got brainwashed into the University of Florida, which if there's a school to be brainwashed into, that's a great one.
Yeah.
And so I was always like, I'm going to be a Gator.
There you go.
That's it. And so when all my friends in high school were freaking out and, they were applying to all these schools, I applied to one school, the University of Florida. Luckily I got in. Truth be told, I was living in San Antonio, Texas at the time, and I graduated in the top 5% of my high school class.
Nice.
And when you do that there, you actually you can actually choose which state school you want to go to. It's automatic acceptance.
Wow.
And so I could have gone to the University of Texas, Texas A&M, any of those schools, but man, I always wanted to be a Gator.
Yeah.
So I came here.
It's in your blood.
4 years at the University of Florida. That was the longest I'd ever lived in one place. My last semester in school, I was doing what you're supposed to be doing, going around shaking hands at the career fair at the O-Dome in my suit and tie. For those of you that know me, can you really imagine this guy in a suit and tie?
I want to see a picture. We should have dug deep for that. That'd have been exposed. Ratings would skyrocket.
There's probably a very rare one out there. I don't know. Maybe my mom will see this and she can send it in for a little update. COLLIN in a suit. But yeah, I was doing what you were supposed to do as a college student and was hating every second of it. Yeah. And I just realized through that process, I was like, you know what? This isn't going to be for me. I don't think I'm going to be an entry level manager at some big firm or big corporate business. And it was really in that time where all the light bulbs were going off. And it was like, you know what? I was sitting at that bus stop. That bus drove by again with those words, full bus. Yeah. And dude, this has happened a lot over the last 4 years. Maybe somebody could do something about this. And jumped headfirst into something I didn't know anything about. I was with a partner at the time, and we were 50-50 partners. And after a couple years, we ended up separating that partnership. And so in 2006, I was going all in on the retail scooter business. Mm-hmm. And we developed one of the top scooter dealerships in the country.
I know. I mean, that's huge.
It's definitely been a crazy ride. I've had other business. I had a coffee business in that as well, during that time.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that likes to be doing a lot of things, man. I love to be involved. I love to do a bunch of different things. I get bored easily. It's probably actually a weakness of some sort, because sometimes I'm like, man, if I could just focus on this one thing for a long time, I'd probably do really well. But I just like to do lots of different things.
Getting involved.
I'm a creative man. I'm an idea guy.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, that's being an idea guy. I mean, you can got to be careful, because you start going in multiple directions and stuff and getting involved in this and this and this and this and this. And then you're going, you have no time to focus down. But what you've been able to do with your scooter dealership and with the WHOA podcast, I mean, taking these things so your focus has been there. You know, running a dealership isn't easy, because I used to sell racing go-karts. And so I know a little bit about dealing with wholesalers and dealing with getting in margins and trying to make it work and hoping, you know, you get enough volume to be able to do that. So you were smart enough to see the opportunity to be able to get enough volume pumping through that, because, you know, margins can be tight, and it's all about volume.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny because you know, I don't know, probably in those years of like 2010, 11, 12, 13, when it was like really starting to grow, you know, parents and stuff would come in and they'd be like, oh man, like what a great business to start, because there's scooters everywhere. And I'm just thinking to myself, now.
Thank you.
I'm like, do you know how many scooters like we put on the road over the last several years? Like when we started, there were like none. And it's funny because I was speaking in a class at the University of Florida, and somebody was kind of like presenting on new scooters for less, and you know, just the scooter world in general. And I talked about like in 2007, 2008, somewhere like that, you know, 500 scooter decals had been sold.
Wow.
And then they said like 10 years later, like 2017, it was like 6,800 scooter decals had been sold. And the price had gone from $30 a decal to $160 a decal. I'm like doing this math really quick. I'm like $160 a decal at, you know, 6,800 decal. I'm like, this is well over $1 million on just scooter parking.
Your revenue.
Where's
your cut? Exactly. They saw what you were doing and they capitalized on it, man. They're making some money on these things. I didn't know that. Jeez,
Yeah.
It's
crazy, but it's really cool to see a culture be developed through a business.
Yeah.
Right. Not only within our company, like our company has been known for our company culture, which is awesome, but really on a grander scale, like the fact that the Gainesville and the University of Florida, like this is known as a college scooter town.
Yep.
And I love that. It's a scooter community, baby.
It is, man. I mean, because I grew up here, and back in the early 90s, you didn't see that. I mean, you walked or you got on the bus if you wanted to. The bus routes were terrible back then, so you really didn't get on the bus because it didn't take you anywhere.
Did you have a bicycle?
You had to bike or walk. That was pretty much it.
I had a bike for the first couple of years. It ended up getting stolen.
Yep.
When I was on spring break, and I just remember even when I was riding, man, I would get to class and I'd be dripping in sweat.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, I do not want to be showing up to class.
No, I ended up buying a small little 125 motorcycle for a little while. Then I got hit by a car, destroyed it, and then I had a bike. It got stolen. Bike theft is huge. Was huge. I don't know if it still is, but it was huge back then.
I'm sure it's still huge.
And so you make sure and I had it locked, and they still got that thing. So, but you know, that's just the way it is. But
Yep.
I mean, you've been able to do, and the other part that I like with your podcast too, I've seen you do where you go out and you visited businesses. I've seen you go out and do videos with them, and you have a vlog where people follow you and be able to follow you behind and all. I'm on most of the social medias. I think you're on all of them, right?
You know, it's funny because just from a business standpoint, like the only reason I even got into social media was because, well, I mean, it originally came out in 2004, and I was there when Facebook had launched. I'd been a month and bit. You know, Facebook was February 2004 when it came out. We started in March of 2004, and then over time, I was just like, you know what, this is a place. When Facebook pages came out, I was like, this is gonna be a place where business is obviously gonna be done. But then I just saw the trends with like college students going to Instagram, because they didn't want to be where their parents were anymore.
Yeah.
And then I saw them jump to Snapchat.
Yep.
And then, and so like I was just following these trends. I'm like, I just want to be where my customer is.
True.
If my customer was communicating with me on Twitter, then I was responding on Twitter. So the only reason I kind of got involved with all the different platforms is just because I wanted to be able to use them as customer service platforms, which I think is huge.
It is.
Use it as a customer service platform to really connect with my customer. And then that's where it stemmed from. And so when we got into vlogging, like I actually didn't make my own vlog at first. It was more like I was doing a vlog for the dealership.
Yeah.
And kind of showing the behind the scenes of the dealership. And why that was so important was I would have mom from Miami with their kid coming in August saying, go, hey, like, like asking my team, is Colin around? Like, we would like to meet Colin. And I'm like, I don't know this person. Like, what they say? They're like, oh, they saw one of your videos. They just want to like say hello. And so I would meet them and they'd be like, yeah, like we found your videos when we were doing research on the University of Florida. And because of this vlog, we knew that we wanted to buy a scooter from this place. And so that was like one of those things for me where I was like, okay, this works.
Yeah.
Video works.
Builds trust.
It's like, how many scooters did I sell because of that vlog? It's hard to say. I really don't know. That's why people don't like it from a marketing standpoint, because it's like, oh, you can't measure it. You can't see the insights, and you can't, now it's getting a lot better because you can at least see how many people have actually viewed the video.
True.
But how many of those people bought a scooter? I mean, even if it was 300 views on that video and 50 of them bought a scooter, I'm like, that's pretty good.
It's hard to measure it, but it's the impression side. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen since I started doing video, I've seen a big increase in my business. But it's hard to like actually technically measure it per se where it's coming from. But I know it's coming from exposure, and I know it's coming from all that. And the same way, all those platforms are good. I've talked to people tons of time on Snapchat for the loans and Facebook Messenger. I probably talked to more people through those platforms and communicating on their loan stuff through those than anything else, because I get so much in there.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
With this show or with any of the other content, because you were doing a lot of TikTok content, have you, and exporting it to other platforms? Like that's when like you had really caught my attention. I was like, man, this guy's making content on TikTok and taking it to LinkedIn where his audience really is. Have you found that there's been any opportunity to kind of go the reverse way where you're making content like with this podcast and going to TikTok? Because the reason I ask is like right here I got like my Instagram live down here, and Clay Lawrence just jumped in. He said, love that you're posting the clips on TikTok now. He's talking about the podcast.
Yeah.
So I started taking the podcast clips.
I saw that.
Breaking them into like, if it's a 2-minute video, breaking them into the 60-second clips and putting it on TikTok. And I've actually had some really good traction, like really good engagement.
I saw you doing that, and I was thinking about that, and because last week is the first week I started to reharvest what you do. It's like when you make a video, you can take the big video clip or take this, you take segments of it, and you can recycle those through on different platforms. So I was thinking about doing the same thing because I saw that. Now that you've given me the input, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've restructured. I'm still using TikTok as a video production platform basically, and exporting that humor out. But I am going to export back over to it to do a few things, because I'm going to try to actually build followers on it, because I have some followers on there, but I don't have as many as I could. But some of my other friends who have a lot of followers, I know what they're doing for content to be able to gain the additional followers, but I haven't been focused on that. I've been focused on using TikTok as a tool. And then you're going to see Instagram Reels coming, which is another one that all that's about to roll for me. I set up a little video office and everything over at Tech City.
Nice.
And to be able to do all this kind of stuff and crazy, stupid stuff that I like to do. And
we should do crazy, stupid stuff together.
I love collaboration.
Me
I want to
too,
do collaborate. I actually even want to do that. We should definitely, it would be fun to just make some fun, stupid videos, because that's what I'm good at.
I love it too. It just gives you that opportunity, that outlet to be creative.
Oh, yeah.
And to kind of test and do new things. And when you do collaborations, you can like say, hey, go post this on yours. Let's post this on mine. Let's see let's see what kind of engagement we get. And I don't know, just a lot of cool testing and stuff in there. I look forward to doing that a lot more as like I can kind of start to pull myself away from scooter world a little bit and keep diving further and further down this content creation.
Content creation is fun. It's a blast, and be able to get it done. I mean, and speaking of Tech City, I went out there and highlighted them as our business of the week for our segments. So I think we have a video, right? We want to do our business of the week segment, and we'll show that, roll that real quick. Hey, we're here at Tech City. I'm here with Mitch Glazer. Woo! check this place out.
Yeah, let's
This
do it.
is awesome.
Let's do it. We're excited because we're just now starting the next set of 60,000 square feet of buildings.
60,000.
This place is fully built out. We do have some spaces at the launch pad we're going to talk about here in a minute.
I'm there.
But yeah, exactly.
Get our code over here.
Yep, don't show them the code. Don't show them the code. So you're inside the launch pad. The launch pad is close to 8,000 square feet of 16 different variety sizes of office spaces that offer an independent ability for a company to come out here, start small, and then emerge. We're really focusing on entrepreneurship and the emerging companies, much like yours.
Yeah.
We're actually at this is where the front door would be. We came in the back door off the promenade.
Yeah.
And so this will actually get a sitting area in here. Really, really nice welcome area. You would give your guests your passcode to be able to get in the doors 24/7. And so we're able to actually welcome customers and clients and so forth. And then we come back in here, they would find your space, so let's go do that. So this is the boardroom, and this is also a shared service that we offer out here at the launch pad. So what you would do is get on your computer, and you basically reserve the room for as much time as you need it. And then people see the windows of opportunity. So your office, as an example, is a smaller office that we offer out here, but you may want to have a client, and so you can have a client meeting in a boardroom setting or give a full presentation. So this is one of our smaller rooms. This is a 10 by 12 room. It's all automated, so the lights come on automatically, they go off automatically for sustainability. Beautiful, beautiful setup in here, real comfortable. And kind of a decor that fits all. Again, you have your solid core doors, which are beautiful. You get your own locked doorway, so your office is very secure for your use and your use only. We have side lights with each of the doors as well. And what that means is, even though it's an enclosed room, you still have some sense of a window, if you will. So it's really, really nice. So this actually is a 10 by 12, and all in is $350 a month. And that's pretty darn affordable. So you could get an office this size, and when you get a little bit larger, you could get an office this size, or maybe a room this size, or maybe something this size, or maybe something this size.
We've got a huge amount of space here.
Yeah, we do. Like I said, it's almost 8,000 square feet. Walk outside, and I'll show you where the next buildings are going. Of course, you push our exit.
See? Secure.
We're already signing leases on the next buildings. We're about to announce those over the next couple months. Right behind you is where the next set of buildings go. You can see those white markers, and actually that kind of dictates or shows where the promenade's going to be in the next set of buildings. Some of the things we really haven't put out in our posts yet, but they just finished and they got their CO, is Next Gen Biologics. They toured this area, and they chose us based on our sustainability efforts because they're very big into that too. This launch pad is here, and we just kind of did a full circle. We were at the front door earlier.
Now we're moved up.
So we moved up. And then another really dynamic, we're so excited about NovaProach Spine. So NovaProach Spine is a device that's been patented and going through FDA approval. And it's a disc that goes between the vertebrae that is actually inserted through the belly button. And so that is going to change and really revolutionize how back surgeries are done for the lower back. Wow. Of course, we've had Collective out here, and they're doing great as well. And then we have new designs on 13 new solar trees we just got approved.
Here's our solar trees right here.
So I'm excited to have you out here.
Oh,
Joe, you're a rock star.
We're gonna be growing out here with with everything. We're doing our productions out here.
Yeah.
YouTube productions, and Elio, we're doing his production.
Yeah,
in his
right.
office.
Yeah.
We'll get him to come out here too.
Yeah. Elio, we're raving fans of Elio's for sure, and everything you're doing as well. But the launch pad is really cool because as you grow, you can say, hey, I went from this small room to a little bit larger room to a larger room. Or as you add staff, you can say, hey, I'm going to stay here, but I need another room or two or whatever. So if that fits your need, come out and see us. We also have, like I said, we have 60,000 square feet that's under construction right now. And so there is opportunity to go into that if somebody needs some space out here. Some of it's already gone. candidly. But we also have other buildings that we could build. So
There's a huge complex coming out. I mean, this whole thing is like the live, work, play concept.
Yeah.
Which is why, I mean, I love it coming out here. It's just got a lot of energy out here.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
fun.
And actually, what's really you should go do is take a video of the walking trail, because when you get out there and look this way at what's going on, it completely changes the complexion about what we're trying to accomplish.
I'll go out there.
So
I'll get videos.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me
very
out, man.
much, and I hope you have a great day, everybody. And
right.
please come see us at San Velasco Tech City.
Cool deal.
Bye bye.
See ya. We're back. We're back. So that's Tech City, man.
It's awesome.
Tech City, you know it. You've been out there. You've been out there since the beginning.
Mitch is an amazing guy, and definitely doing a lot of really cool stuff out there.
It's so innovative out there. That's why I wanted to. I have a downtown office, which is customer facing, and it has the couch and the nice stuff and everything for people. And then out there, I wanted to plug into all the energy of the innovation and all the digital stuff, because my world is going digital. Mortgage is going digital. I mean, Quicken Loans is a great example of that. Everybody just goes on their phone, push button, get loan. So we're emulating a lot of that, but also keeping it as with a local contact, so you can actually talk to somebody. So,
but the simplicity of that place, right?
Oh,
'Cause you get like the utilities,
everything,
the internet, like everything is like wrapped into the rent.
One shot.
Yeah.
When I went there, he showed me around. He said, "Oh, let me show you the launch pad." So we start walking. This is $350 a month, and I said, "Okay, we'll sign right now." I just didn't even. I was like done. I mean, because I already said I want a production office to do my YouTube stuff and everything. I've got Elio's place here to do this, so it just made sense. And then the energy out there actually is cool, because everyone that's coming out there is just high tech technology. It's just it's fun actually. I actually enjoy being out there. It's right, and that's the thing with Alachua. We're seeing more and more of that coming.
Yeah, it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, the future plans out there, and housing is going to improve in certain areas, and so we're going to see that whole stretch of 441 is for sale, and you're going to start seeing when pricing gets in the right spot. And what Alachua has already done, a lot of people don't even know, is infrastructure-wise. They're out there doing all the underground stuff that needs to be done. So when you come and you plop a business there, it's plug and play. You just turn it on, because you don't have to wait for all this stuff to get run to you and all this other stuff to get done. They've already done all the sewer. They've done all the fiber layout. All that stuff is happening right now. All the new substations in place, so they can handle all the electricity. I mean, it's
awesome.
It's big. So
live, work, and play, baby.
I know it's gonna be cool. There'll be housing out there, and I mean it's a whole. It's not even something you would have thought in Alachua, because Alachua is more focused. People think of it as a small town. You know, this is a small town. That's why I like being there. I know everybody, and we can just walk around, do whatever we want. But it's bringing in the technology and the higher paying jobs and everything. So selfishly, for me in the future, my kids could stay here and not leave me, because I'll just follow them wherever they go anyway. So,
Right.
so it's I love what they've done out there in tech. I mean, it's huge. And I watched some of your stuff in the early days when they were just breaking ground on it.
Yeah, it's crazy,
You're out
right?
there. You're out. See, that's
like
the thing.
Still dirt. It's still like frame. It was like a frame building. At that
Exactly.
point.
You're out there in the beginning. It's like the Collin's already on it. Boom. Because you just know what's going on.
Yeah, if you guys want to check that out, you can go to my YouTube channel. Those vlogs are on COLLINAustin.tv. If you just type that into your browser, it'll take you straight to my YouTube channel. And just look for the vlog, which is called All In with Collin.
Love it.
And
Way to roll.
Yeah, look up Tech City. It's in there. You can kind of get the tour, see what it looked like back in the day. And it's made so much progress so quickly.
Yes.
I mean, it's just amazing how fast
It came out of the ground quick, and that was the thing. That was the other testament to the city working with Mitch, because Mitch and Rich, they came in. We want to do this. We want to make it happen. And so the city said, let's plug in. And so we just break ground. Let's go. And that thing has popped up, and now they got another 60,000 going, like it showed in the video. As you saw in the video how that's my production, so you're not going to get much detail on it, but it looks as good as you can see for what I could do. But you need to go out and just check it out, because they'll show you around. They're happy to go and show you the place and see how it looks. It's pretty cool.
I wish you would donate 60,000 square feet to your go-kart track.
That's a dream of mine out there.
Go-kart
Racing
track.
go-karts indoor. Have the electric ones indoor, and we can build an outdoor facility to handle some of the gas ones.
There you go.
If I built a go-kart track out there, it would be world class. I would be broke, and it would not make any money at all. But it would be phenomenal, and everybody have a great time until I ran out of money. But it is, we could. If you haven't done racing go-karts, you need to go to Ocala Grand Prix down there and check it out. You can rent a 90-mile-an-hour go-kart down there and just get on it and go have some fun. And so I suggest that for you. And we should go. I got my carts. You want to go run?
I'll do it. Yeah.
We'll go. We'll go down.
I'm a little scared, but I'll do it.
It's not. It's if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me. My daughter wants to be a race car driver now. So, well, we're getting close. So we got to do our mortgage tip of the week.
Let's go.
So let's hit that bumper. All right, so we'll keep it simple and stuff, but let's talk about self-employed borrowers, because you've had experience with this.
Yeah, so, it's kind of interesting because as an entrepreneur, as a family man, you're always trying to save money.
Yeah, you got to. The
Right.
paycheck is you.
Right. So I remember when, I started getting all wind of, hey, mortgage rates are dropping, interest rates are dropping, interest rates are dropping. I'm like, all right, well, let's explore this. Cause I actually felt like my current mortgage was, pretty fair.
Yeah.
Like I've had it, I don't know,
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years
Yeah.
or so. And, and I was at 4.5%, but I was like, I reached out to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, buddy, talk to me a little bit about this. Like what can be done? And you're like, man, if we did, I think it was like, if we did like a 15-year, we did a 15-year, it'd be like 2.1, 2.2%, something. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
this is
several
low.
months ago.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to see them creep back up, right?
Yeah, they're around 3 to 3.25 today. That's where
Okay.
they're sitting.
So it's creeping back up. But, through this process, I'm like, man, like what's going on? What's going on? And, look, I think sometimes as a small business owner, you got to like just be very aware of, circumstances, whether it's with COVID or anything else. Like COVID has had a lot of impact on lending in general, because
Yeah.
it's like, yo, look, like we're being more conservative with our money right now. We'll go back here, like we're gonna hold on to our money as the lender right now. But yeah, to make a long story short, like we've actually kind of had trouble getting
Yeah.
a loan approved for me. And maybe you can explain a little bit why.
So let me break that down. So what happens is you're self-employed, this is something you should be aware of, especially right here in the middle of tax season. If you're looking to get a loan and you're self-employed, have a conversation with your CPA about how you're doing your write-offs, because they're looked at in different ways under Fannie and Freddie. They look at different, and it's gotten a little different through the COVID. They've made a few changes, and to not get into the heavy details of it, because we could be here for 3 hours explaining it. But the bottom line is, if that money is not flowing over to your 1040, you're not going to probably be able to use it. So that's the downside. Is there's certain ways that we can give back money, pretty much, but some of that has been taken away, and so the problem is that some of the tax loopholes there are kill you on your incomes, because the way lending looks at it is they say, if it's not there, we see it, but we can't count it. And so therefore you may be making the money, but you're not. So in essence, sometimes you have to kind of pay a little bit of tax to be able to show the income, so you can be able to qualify for a mortgage later. It's probably good to sit down with your mortgage lender and have them just analyze your tax returns to see where you land income-wise, so you can know what you need to improve with your CPA, because your CPA will know. They'll say, okay, we need to make these adjustments, and this is what it's going to cost you if you do that. And so it's your choice, and weigh it out with your mortgage advisor. Said this cost is basically figured out as almost like a closing cost, because I got to pay a little more taxes to be able to have the income. And is it worth it? So you got to kind of analyze that and see if it makes sense. Because sometimes it makes more sense just to keep your write-offs the way they are and keep your cash flow the way it is, and you make more money on the other side of it. So it's a bigger analysis, but you got to watch how much you're actually writing off and how much you're taking on business expense. And last year was tough for everybody, and so we've got, going into 2020 tax season now, people filing their taxes, their incomes are going to look differently. So Fannie and Freddie are going to look at it differently. So it's kind of a tough ballpark, and it can get really detailed on how to try to actually pull enough income in and be able to use that as qualifying income. The old days, and there's still some loans out there, but the interest rates aren't that great on them, where the old days we could do, that's where stated income came from. That's where stated income came from. So they would say, you're self-employed. We know you make this much money. You've got great credit. We know your stated income is where you're probably going to be. We would even sometimes we look at the tax returns and be able to go off of a gross and say this is where we would show the income. And as long as you did, and it was an LTV scenario, and there's your loan. But then they started, actually politics got involved and said, well, everybody should have this type of loan.
Politics always gets involved.
And that's what happened, really. If you really want to dive into it, the politicians said, we think everybody should be able to have access to stated income, because it was very limited. You had to have a 720 credit score, it was a 20% down, and it had other caveats. And then it just started getting chipped away because they felt it wasn't fair and fair lending, that everyone couldn't do it. And it eventually went all the way down to 580, and you could do 100% loan at stated income and get still good rate, and it happened. So, and that's what helped us fall into where we're going. But
it's crazy. That might actually make an interesting mastermind session sometime. Like on our show, we do the mastermind sessions, just kind of getting into how different business owners kind of structure their own finances, their take home stuff.
Yeah.
Because here, I'm just taking advice. I'm listening to, to my accountant and other things. It's the only reason I was even on payroll was because I'm all right, I'm gonna have my payroll chunk kind of be my setting money aside for taxes.
Yeah.
So I don't out of my payroll, I'm not getting a check. It's zero.
yeah.
Because all the money is being pulled and set aside in federal withholding
Correct.
and all that other stuff, right?
Yep.
So the actual money that I'm taking home is the shareholders' distributions that I'm taking.
Yep.
But that's what we've been having a hard time
Correct.
getting qualified.
Yeah, so shareholder distributions, there's some loopholes on shareholder distributions that you don't have to be taxed on. It doesn't have to move to the 1040. So in the old days, we found there was ways we can make that work. That don't happen anymore. Now, if you're doing a shareholder distribution, you're able to not pay tax on that shareholder distribution, which doesn't transfer to your 1040. In the eyes of the lender, you don't have any money. You're not making any money. They say that money goes away. We can't count that money anymore. So, and I always say there's no common sense in lending, which there isn't. But we don't have the choice there. In essence, what I say is I work for the government, because the government backs pretty much everything and controls everything in lending with Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, USDA. Government is basically in control of all that stuff. So that tells you why it doesn't make sense half the time. But it is what it is, and it's for us on our side is to try to relay that information and understand it. And we usually don't know it till we see all the data in. So it's always good, like I said, if you're dealing, your CPA's job is to try to save you money. And so they're going to try to save you money. So what you want to sit down with them and say, look, I'm thinking about buying a house, so I need to show something to qualify with. How can I do that? Make sure you tell them that. That way you're prepared to go in and be able to show the income stuff. I hear our roll music. That's
great stuff, man.
Elio's he's like, I'm done. I'm done. These guys are on Miapa Coffee.
What a 6-hour podcast today.
We're going to keep going. We're going to, so we need to schedule some TikToks, some Reels, man. We got to get some stuff going down, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. That was fun, and glad for you coming on.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure.
Elevated the show to a whole nother level, man.
I love being here. I love what you're doing. Keep it up, and let's keep building this area together, you guys. We got such great communities right here that we got to keep building together.
Absolutely. Check out the podcast, guys. You got to watch it. It's phenomenal. It's great.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Awesome show. Love it.
See ya.